Greetings lords and ladies, I am the Mighty Gammon. If you like the video, please pour yourself 5 mugs of tea and drink all of them before the final mug gets cold. I have just jokingly outed someone as a traitor to Soma in Valhalla. Let's see how that plays out. Oh Christ, that was just a prank. Looks like he's really dead. She killed him. I should probably stay quiet about this. Yeah, go Soma, you showed him. On a lighter note, I gave Basim and Hytham a house in our village. Their new Hidden Ones bureau was to be the staging ground for a massive assassin jihad against England. Apparently we had specific targets to kill, which was upsetting because I was hoping to get clearance to commit peasant genocide in every other village I came across. Bloody political correctness gone mad, I tell you. After a bit of hill climbing banter between myself and Hytham, I was told I needed to leap head first from the top of a cliff face if I was to embrace my true self. This is just a less dangerous version of believing that healing crystals will cure depression and Jupiter aligning with Saturn will make me punch a child. To assist with my mission, I began training an army of assassin dogs. In the spirit of General Coney, I had ensured to abduct these dogs from local schools rather than purchase them outright. Oh my god, what's this? Oh, does that say subscribe to the Mighty Gammon TV? That sounds like really good advice. The Mutt army was not ready for battle just yet, so I took my crew to raid the Grantbridgeshire monastery instead. That was a horrific mouthful. Stun attack! Where is your lead? Oh, whoops. The Saxons were the bad guys, we were the good guys. Case closed, I win, bye bye. So I negotiated with the Saxons. I had ruined so many lives by sacking the churchyard, but one positive from this whole experience is that I got loads of raw materials to build a fishing hut or something. To that end, I could now access some fantastic customization options for my longship. There were so many funky fresh colours and schemes, and they were all trash. The final mission for the province was at the place I had just raided. This was a recurring theme throughout my time with Valhalla. I would raid or fully explore a location, often taking an hour or 2 even of my time away from the main story, only to have the next mission take place in the same location. Only the enemies I killed would always miraculously return as if God said, nah mate, allow it fam, they're back. I took a nice stroll towards the monastery in the crisp nighttime air to clear my head. You killed him! This mission took me back to the days of Ezio in Assassin's Creed 2, sneaking into a church in the dead of night to swiftly kill your target. It all went so smoothly. Not a single enemy noticed me creeping up on their leader. This was it, the final strike, time for Wigmund to say goodnight. I'm going to be sick. To prove I was a really cool dude, I proceeded to edgewalk towards Wigmund whilst he was on the edge of death. After meeting the edge of my blade, this game is really educational. I wasn't entirely sure how this scene was playing out in reality, but telling him to go to hell before ripping his seal from him was rather awesome. Really put me on the edge of my seat. Okay, I'll stop now. The priests looked sad about the whole situation, so I gave Wigmund back to them. I don't understand why they were so upset by this. I was giving him back. Just as I was about to tell Soma she owed me some alone time with her as payment for my services, that utter weapon of a woman, Berna, interrupted us. I was about to backhand her for ruining the only chance I had at a dutty wine in Grantbridge, but she offered to join my crew, so I allowed her to join under the condition that she's not given any payment or food for her work. Eivor would go on to appear in the Fortune 500 list of companies that pay their staff in appreciation rather than money, so they cannot buy themselves food. On my way back to Ravensthorpe, I ran into a monk chilling out in his front garden. He was obsessed with the fact that he could never become angry or a slave to money, as to say he was better than me, which is really a low bar to be aiming for. I mean, I'm just awful. I'm a terrible human being. He dared me to burn his homestead down in order to prove that he is impervious to rage. This was an early Christmas present for me, because I hadn't set fire to anything in a hot minute. I didn't even need to be dared to do this in honesty. I was already considering it before we had begun talking. This task also involved assassinating a cow by stabbing its foot several times and waiting for it to drop dead. Could this cow have been supernatural and just fell over as a ploy to convince me that it had perished when it was really plotting to become my wife later on? Possibly. Possibly. There was a suspicious key on the stool. The monk seemed rather uneasy that I'd picked it up, so of course I wanted to see what is unlocked. Could it be treasure? Secret plans, maybe? Of course it's a room full of dead bodies. Why did I expect anything else from Mr. Calm over there? I'm positive that hang people from the ceiling and kill them was not one of the commandments, but who am I to judge? He attempted to explain his wrongdoings until he straight up told me he was going to kill me.
Fuck it! I am still the blood-hungry whore I once was! Fucking die, you putrid shit-eater! Die 1,000 ways and times like the others!
An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, as they say. So I left his eyes intact when I drowned him. All this death was boring me, so I raided a nearby monastery to kill more people. It's not weird, this is part of the game. Me? A psychopath? Jog on, mate. The raid was cut very short. I'm rather bad at this game. Once I was briefed on the war effort, I pledged to take Leicestershire from the Saxons. I did this by ruining the nice oak table with a dagger, as all good leaders do. An extremely conspicuous camp had appeared in my village. As I walked over to inquire about who had the audacity to set up shop without asking, I was introduced to Raider, someone who I felt I had definitely seen before. After a bit of thought, I realised this man-child was in Assassin's Creed Origins, meaning they had not aged in almost 1,000 years. Raider had joined Far Cry's Herc in Ubisoft's line of immortal comic relief specialists. Why don't they die? They live in my nightmares. I finally got around to building some stables in the village. Prior to this, my horse had been seen standing on boats, sailing up and down the River Thames, hiding in local barns, and mugging residents at knife point near the pond. Now he finally had a place to sleep, I completed years worth of horse training in about 10 seconds by paying the nice man a bit of silver. For some reason, they also had an aviary next to the horses. The best part of this feature is the fact I could swap out my crow for a genetically superior pigeon. Have you ever been viciously attacked by a pigeon on the streets of London before? I wouldn't recommend it.
The eagles are coming!
In my downtime, I like to act as a part-time referee to the village flighting matches. These two were horrific. Their entire flighting match was going right up on the fridge. Finally, I had unlocked a fishing rope. Eivor force pushed it into the river to catch a literal whale that should have sunk my tiny rowing boat, considering I also weigh about 60 stone after calling a feast for the clan, then locking the longhouse doors so I could eat the entire village's food supply. Good times. This fishing is not realistic though. I want to sit here for 4 hours waiting for the slightest movement on the surface of the water before throwing the rope in and waiting for a further 2 hours until I finally give up and order something from the chippy down the road. That is what it means to be truly British. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.